Hey, everybody, welcome to PVD Horror. I'm Dave. I'm joined with my co host, Brandon. I'm extremely happy today because I have a couple of my favorite people here. I have Toby and John Adams. Um, we will be talking about Mother of Flies, which I am so excited to dig into. But if you haven't seen it yet, you need to stop this episode right now, put it on pause, go to Shudder, watch Mother of Flies, and then come back and then listen to this because there might be some spoilers or just some stuff that you're not ready to hear yet until you see the film. Because I want everyone to be able to make their own interpretations. But John, Toby, thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you back.
Dave and Brandon, it's great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to be back. We love talking with you guys. We talk to you guys a lot on social media, in person. It's you're great people, and this is fun.
Three's a charm.
Yeah, it's been fun. We met like so many years ago. How many years ago was that? Like when Hellbender first came out, and I finally got to meet you guys in person at Fantastic Fest. So that was really a cool experience. And you were able to, premiere Mother of Flies, So what have you guys been up to, just, in your off time and everything, like between filmmaking and stuff, what have you guys been up to?
There's no such thing as between filmmaking.
I figured.
Luckily, our life is continuous, and we get to keep making films because we love telling stories and we love being with the girls. So we're working on a new movie, and we started. When did we start? Like really cranking it out. I mean, basically, when we saw you, Brandon, like we were already like we had our idea, we were moving, and so yeah, there's no stopping.
Yeah, now that's your
We're out
10th
there,
film, right?
yeah, I think you're right. And yeah, we were out today in 2-degree Fahrenheit weather.
Holy shit, yeah.
And shooting some great stuff and really important for the end of the movie. It was fucking cold. But it was worth it, and it was beautiful because that snow is just so cinematic and gorgeous.
Nice. Now, can you tell us a little bit about that project, or is that still on hush right now?
No, nothing's hush. We're open book. We're not great with rules, so no, what's great about being a part of the community, the horror community, talking with people like you is we learn so much about art, we learn so much about ourselves, we learn so much about what we're doing, we learn so much about what people like and the conversations that's kind of the zeitgeist of what's going on. And we learned a lot as we toured Mother of Flies. And one of the things we really wanted to do was have a movie. Mother of Flies is super intense. It's real emotional. It's packed with it's a slow burn, but it's not slow to us. Like people call it a slow burn. It's not a slow burn to us, but I understand why they say that. And so one of the things we wanted to do after Mother of Flies is have a fast burn. Like let's light a fuse and watch it just fly to the TNT. And it's been a great experience for us to do what we consider a fast burn. We'll see what happens when it comes out. Maybe people say another slow burn by the Adams, but it's like we're having fun. For us, it's a fast burn, and it's really fun.
And yeah, I can tell you the premise. The premise is a small town sheriff and her deputy, over the course of one very escalatingly bad day, realize things just aren't what it used to be yesterday.
Okay.
Is this going to be a winter horror film since you guys are filming?
Absolutely.
There we go.
100%.
We've made 2 horror movies in the snow and just loved the cinematography and the tone of the snow. So we made our very first horror movie was called The Hatred, and it was shot in the snow. Okay. And then The Deeper You Dig obviously was shot in the snow too. And
Where the Devil Roams was a winter movie.
Yeah, you're right. We just love the snow. I mean, it's hard, but it's so beautiful. And it's kind of the opposite of most horror movies because it's so bright. nothing's hidden. It's not like a dark horror movie in a dark house, like what's down in the cellar? When you're shooting the snow, there it is. You're looking at it.
Yeah.
So, talking about getting back to Mother of Flies, which premiered at Fantastic Fest, maybe you can just give a little brief synopsis of that film before we start our discussion so that people are aware of what the film's about.
Sure. Yeah. Mother of Flies is about a girl who receives a deadly diagnosis. So she goes deep into the woods with her father to seek dark magic from a recluse living there.
Okay.
Perfect.
Now, were there specific films, myths, or gothic influences that helped shape the mood for this project?
There's a ton. I mean, look, we're super influenced by, I would say if there's anything that really influenced us each, it's our memories of what Grimm's fairy tales stood for,
Okay.
which is kind of brutal stories that tell the truth and good and like kind of brutality and beauty come in equal measure.
I think too, like not so much like a story, but we were thinking a lot about magic. Like we were at a film festival and we were often running into a guy who's an amateur magician, and he would just in the middle of the street do these cool magic tricks. And we were so enamored by these tricks, and it made us feel like children. And there was something about the innocence of the belief system of magic and like what it takes to believe it. And then mixing that with someone who's facing death, it just created this liminal like fairy tale playground where everything was at stake, and you just and this girl wants to believe so badly that she's so young that she can live. And so I feel like magic really, like the essence of magic, I know for me was very influential. I think for both of us.
Yeah.
When we were conjuring up this story.
Can I add one thing to that?
You may.
Thank you, lover.
Go for it.
Go forth and add. The real myth that we really are telling is actually the truth of life and the truth of Toby and I's experience with cancer. And we're celebrating the magic of science and the magic of doctors. And that's why this woman's a witch doctor, because and she delivers science, just like, to me, chemo and radiation. Radiation is a magic wand that someone waved at me. The chemo that I shot in my arms came in colors that look like this right here. That's a magic potion, and I lived. So it was like we wanted to tell the story of all the people that deal with not just cancer, but any wild stuff that science has to cure them of, and kind of celebrate the magic of science.
Yeah. And that was the thing. Like, I wanted to know, like, how important was it for you guys? Because I knew that you guys all had dealt with your battle of cancer, how important it was for you guys to create a film like this, because everyone, is kind of going through it. My mom was diagnosed with cancer years ago, and she fought the battle, and my aunt's currently going through breast cancer. You know what I mean? So watching this film, and seeing that stuff, it really, definitely moves you. And then knowing your history, it definitely, shapes, for audiences out there to, grasp onto this film. So I just want to say thank you, I mean, because it's really cool when, filmmakers put their story on the screen. So it's really cool to kind of see all this happen.
Well, thank you. And wind at your aunt's back, it's so universal. And we also equally wanted to honor the people who love the person who's facing something really dark and scary or deadly, because that's its own beautiful, painful, difficult, powerful journey. So both sides of that equation, we wanted to, through Zelda's character and through John's character, to acknowledge, and dealing with it through like the beautiful lens of cinema, of movies, was really cathartic. It felt very powerful. And strangely comforting, just to kind of revisit these stories under our own terms. I mean, some of the conversations Mickey and her dad Jake have in the movie are ripped right out of our real lives. And then to see Zelda channeling them so beautifully was really, really cool. And I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's two quotes in this film that really hit me hard. One of them in particular, I keep using at work, just to kind of highlight some stuff with people that I think is super important. But the first one was, sometimes it's not until we accept death that we truly start to live. And then the second quote was, death grows within her, but miraculously it's delivered her the meaning of life. But for you, it's delivered the fear of loss and stripped you of faith. I think both of those are so like heavy and accurate in so many ways. The first one, though, that like that idea of accepting death and then, but it actually being the thing that makes you truly start to live. It's kind of ironic. The week I got to check out this film, and I watched it months back, I got some news about my dad and his health, and it really made me kind of rethink the way that I spend time with him, and like how present I want to be. And it's funny because I just took that quote and I was like, wow, it's so accurate, because like suddenly it's much more important that I see him more frequently, that I be more intentional with the time I have with him, and kind of like make sure I don't have regrets at some point in time. It just gets you starting to think about things, right? And I mean, we've all had loss, and we've all know that regret that you have of the things I should have done, and I'm going to do it differently next time, and then you don't. But now I'm like, this is my opportunity to actually do things differently. And that quote was just, it just hit me like so hard, and I've been sharing it with people. I think it's just so helpful for people to see that, because so many people are afraid of death the way that John, your character, feared death, right? And Zelda's character was just like so embracing. She got to a point where, I mean, progressively works up to acceptance throughout the film, but like it was just like night and day between the characters and how they were approaching it. And John just had that, you had that like, we got to keep trying, right? So again, like Brandon said, thank you for kind of highlighting all this. But I just kind of wanted to share how impactful I found those lines, and just how meaningful this story is about how we embrace it, the fear that we have. Sometimes we push people away, as you see Mickey kind of push her dad away at the end. There's so many range of emotions that you see, and you guys captured it all so well.
I couldn't have a higher, more thoughtful compliment than that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's what we wanted to talk about. Exactly that kind of thing. So one of the things you touched on was the meaning of life. And Solveig says that about the daughter to the father, and then says, but it stripped you,
Yeah.
I remember when I got I got a big tumor cut out of my neck, but they didn't know whether it was cancerous or not until they cut it out. They sent it off to the magic lab, and the magic magicians looked at it and called me up on Monday and they said, are you alone? And I knew when the doctor asked me that I was fucked.
Right.
I was like, no, I got a friend here. And he's like, okay. Yes, it turns out that you do have cancer. And what struck me, because when he said that, I couldn't speak for a second because it hit me like a hard slap in the face. And I couldn't speak, but I remember the meaning of life hit me like as hard as that slap in the face hit me, which was like, all right, I just found out what the meaning of life is. And from that point on, I've had the meaning of life, and the other side of that is when they gave me percentages of 50-50, I had to immediately make a relationship with death because I needed to become comfortable with death, because I was like 50-50 means that's 50-50. It's a coin toss. And so I really needed to make a relationship. I needed to fall in love with death because might be my next partner. And those two subjects we all deal with. And so it's really just invigorating and wonderful that the horror community talks about this kind of stuff, and that us as filmmakers is allowed to talk about these kind of things, and that we're all talking about them together. It's because we're all in this together, and it's very helpful to have the company and the compassion and this dialogue, together.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything to that, Toby?
Well, it's Zelda, right when we were thinking of making this movie, she discovered she carries the same genetic cancer syndrome I have. That they call it a syndrome. It's called Lynch because you're just vulnerable to like a number of cancers. And so they just bunch it all together into a syndrome. And it's so sexy. They used to call it family cancer syndrome. And I think they realized pretty quickly that does not sound very promising to anyone who has it. So they changed it to Lynch, I guess the person who had kind of discovered it. But and at first I remember really worrying that if we made this movie, it would create some kind of stigma for Zelda, and that she would be walking around feeling like there was just a ticking like clock above her head. And so I had to talk to her about it, and she was so cool, and she said, "No, fuck it. That's why we tell a story, and we tell it on our own terms, and we get empowered by it." And I was grateful she said that, because it really was a positive experience. And she's been really cool knowing, hey, I've got this genetic proclivity, but I also have a map to navigate. But for me, the most rewarding thing for all of us, and this includes Lulu, who doesn't carry the gene, but is the conversations, like John said, that we're having with you, that we have with people who are moved by the themes. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Those who are having these existential conversations at this moment in time is a great human bonding experience that I really appreciate. I just do. When a lot of us feel very fractured and cold or confused, it's just, well, no, I'm not ashamed of it. I love it. It's my most favorite thing about this film. And I love a lot of things about this film.
Yeah. And it's cool, because watching you guys grow over the years and just seeing you guys on the screen now, everything is just more organic. It just all comes together so much, it's beautiful. And just seeing you like, Zelda growing up with you guys and having that, relationship, sometimes like for me, I'm like my son's 18 and my daughter's 14. Like you see the time going by, you know what I mean? And then you think that, oh, my kids don't think I'm cool anymore because they're so busy doing this, but it's so cool seeing you guys create something together, you know what I mean? Uh, and you can look back on that, and then everyone can look back on that and see, all the points and stuff where you guys are all going through because like you have like your phone, you can see memories and stuff like that, like going to a game with your kids and stuff like that. But you guys are creating moments that everyone around the world can witness, and so I think that's pretty cool, So like I said, congratulations because I think this is what it's been so organic and I like draw me and Dave to you guys as filmmakers because it was just like a family project and you know what I mean and seeing everything come together and where you guys are now it's really special.
Yeah, we feel super lucky and thank you for those words. I mean, it's because of like you guys. I mean, that's what this is. Like this is punk rock, we're all punk rock. And I grew up in punk rock and I'm still in punk rock and we're in punk rock together. And that is what is so fun about this.
Yes.
None of us need permission to do what we're doing.
Yeah, that's great.
And Dave, just add on, like there was another quote that stuck out to me. It's like a funny one, but it was just like when John, you said, do you always notice when she comes around, there's always flies because he's full of shit.
Yeah.
And so can you explain like the whole breakdown of the flies, mother of the flies? What do the flies represent in this film for, people that have no clue or anything that what's going on with that?
Oh, nice. I think Toby's probably going to say the most smart thing about it.
I'll try. Well, it's funny. If you might have noticed that maggots.
Because you already got my quote.
maggots, have a definite place in a number of our films. And similarly to in Hellbender, which had a real Ouroboros kind of cyclical nature about the Hellbenders and how, they're kind of regenerate. In this case, well, first of all, the flies just showed up. Like, I don't know why they love me so much. I don't think I'm that stinky a person, but they loved me. I was sweating a lot, I guess, in that wool, like robe. And it was the summertime, but they were showing up ready for their close-up, super cheap labor. And we started to take a hint from them, like, wait a minute, there's something like about this that actually works thematically. I think that flies represent regeneration, because they lay eggs in something dead. Then these eggs, the larvae are born, and they eat off of this dead material, and then they turn into flies. So there's a beautiful cyclical nature there. And for a necromancer, which is what Solvig is, it's just the perfect emblem of birth, death, back and forth. And so the flies thematically worked. And for Solvig, if you, without to spoil too, well, no, I guess you said we can spoil stuff. Her motherhood is very important to her, but it's a different kind of motherhood. She did not, progenerate with someone and create a child. She chooses the child that she wants to love. I think she's super progressive and modern in that sense, considering how fucking old she is. And so the mother element was really important, and she's a necromancer.
And the baby that she loves. One of the things we enjoyed about making this movie is the taboos that we get to talk about, and the kind of like heresies, and the fact that she takes a dead baby and brings it back to life, and loves it dearly. That's love. And the people who asked her, have a set of rules that they need to follow. It's supposed to be about love, but as soon as it breaks their orthodoxy, they're ready to destroy it and kill it and savage it and torture it. And so it was just fun to kind of have this woman who is definitely unorthodox, but in love with something completely innocent. It's a great thing to talk about,
And when she sees that dead, when she sees the stillborn baby, she thinks it's beautiful.
Yeah.
She picks it up and she thinks it's the most beautiful thing she's ever seen. The death she sees in it is beautiful. The potential for life that she then, doctors from it, for it. So she can have her chosen family and wait centuries patiently to be rekindled with that child she's chosen to love. Was really a big part of her story, and how it ties in, strangely enough, through necromancy, through this girl who is dying of a deadly tumor, which is nothing but what is a tumor but a death device. So she's waited centuries for this opportunity of a tumor in a girl's womb. And well, the womb's actually already been removed, but it's returned in her abdomen. And that's her opportunity. She's waited centuries for.
It's fun when we were shooting that scene. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
No, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Just that when we were shooting the scene, one of our actresses, Judy, when we brought out the baby, she was like, "Oh my God, that's fucking awful. Like, what are we doing here?" And I was like, "Don't worry." And I also described I was like, so you're gonna take the baby and you're gonna throw it in the trash can, and Judy was like, she's like, "Johnny, I love you, but this is fucked up," Like, yeah, but don't worry. The baby's going to come back to life, and the woman's going to love it. So it's going to work out okay. We just got to get that baby in that trash pail. Just so dark and twisted.
But I was under the assumption Solvig is, so Mickey, she asked, "Are you barren?" So I was under the impression that maybe Solvig was, but that also she kind of connects with Mickey in a certain way. Like she sees a bit of herself in Mickey, and that's why she chose her out of, however many people she could have connected with. I got this sense that maybe there was like a connection with some sort of relating in the way that Mickey like embraces death and Sylvig felt like maybe she was the one who would be, kind of willing to accept her. And then the flies, your explanation was so much more beautiful than I thought. I was like, you just see flies on dead things, so I assumed that's why she had flies all the time on her, because it was like the dead deer in the beginning. But I like your explanation so much better.
Well, I love your theory. That's beautiful. That is so cool. I love that line. Barren, she's like, yeah, I don't really like that word. Fruitless, but a tree no less.
Yes, yeah.
So the way she speaks in those, I think that's such a beautiful line. That you came up with that beautiful line.
I did, but I know she did. But if you could edit out that part where you said that all about that, because we would like to say that we knew that, and that's what the point was, that the two of them were barren, and that's why she was picked, because it's super smart, and we're stealing it.
Okay, you got it.
Thanks.
Now, what scene best captures the heart of the film for both of you, even if it's not the most shocking?
That's the best question.
Which scene best captures the film in each of our opinions?
Yep.
I know.
Okay, go.
Well, I think that the scene where John and Zelda's characters are walking, and we hear them in voiceover while the camera's in the grass and a little spider crawls across, and it's beautiful summer and flies are flying and spiders are crawling, and they're talking about the ways that John's character would commit suicide if his daughter dies. I think is a beautiful, first of all, that represents us very much, because we have these kind of dark conversations, but we make sure we laugh a fucking lot. And we laugh in the face of darkness. It's important to us. And I think that scene represents how much love there is in this film. And as dark as it is, when you have, as dark as it goes, you can have that much love. And I think this movie is about that. It's about, I think love is a kind of invisible warfare within a body. And it's within a body, but between bodies, but it's invisible. It's beautiful energy. And for me, that would be the scene. I love that scene.
I'm glad she talked first. While she was talking, I realized what mine was. It's definitely when Solveig is getting stoned to death and buried alive. She recites a beautiful poem about the beautiful complexity of life. And that's, to me, the whole point of the movie.
I love that.
There you go.
That was a powerful scene. There's a lot of powerful scenes.
Can I ask you guys that's the same question?
Yeah, I've been going through in my head. Brandon, do you have one? I was still trying to formulate that, because the few scenes come up, but
Toby, I was gonna say the scene that you brought up, the conversation of, John and Zelda walking and talking about that, that definitely caught my attention more, because it was just like you said, it was just something special, like, going and then knowing your history and going through things, and just that conversation, it was deep, for a father and daughter to have. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
For me, I don't know if it captures like the entire theme of the film or anything, but this one was one that brought up a really big theme, I thought. With the one where Toby, you and Zelda are doing like, the holy water scene. And you dump the holy water on her, and she was like surprised you would do that. And she's like, I forget how it came up, but you were like, do you believe it's working? And for me, that kind of like that whole dialogue that you guys have there, and then ultimately it's just river water or whatever. But it was more important about what she believes than what it actually was. And I think that's so much about the way we view death, the way we view faith, the way we view life. It's about what we believe. Ultimately, none of us know the truth. None of us know what's going to ultimately happen. It then doesn't matter. It's about what we believe. I talked to a kid once. He was like 9 years old, and he was petrified of death. It was like keeping him up at night. And I was like, well, what do you think happens after death? And he's like, you close your eyes, and then I guess you go into dirt. I was like, that's terrifying. I was like, what do you want to believe happens after death? And then he came up with a few thoughts. And I was like, well, I want you to, next time you think about death, just kind of like think about this ulterior thought instead, and then try to distract yourself. it like immediately had an impact on this kid where it was like helpful to him. And it was like that the fear of the unknown and like not knowing what to believe and stuff like that is ultimately kind of what gives us fear, I think, right? So if you can if you believe, if you have faith in things that are helpful to you, then it's going to be helpful in you progressing. It's going to be helpful in your healing or the way you live the remainder of your life. So that was kind of what I extracted from that scene. That was a super long explanation. I'm sorry. Like 20 minutes.
It was great.
You're good.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah,
that was great. I think another thing that we to touch on that particular scene is the belief in magic, but magic also representing, again, I'm going to cut it back to science. One of the things that my nurse told me when I first, day one shooting chemo, sat down in the chair, she could tell I was nervous, and she, like, she was great. She'd always touch my arm, and like, she was so great. Her name was Kathy. And she said, one of the things that's going to help you is if you believe in this and you have a sense of humor about it. And, she's like, the people that come and don't believe in this and just are completely pessimistic, it's too hard for them. So she was like, just believe in what we're doing and try to laugh. And I made it. So those words to me I always will thank her. And so we wanted to address those things, like about the positivity of belief. It doesn't have to be like, I believe in God's going to save me, or it's just, I believe in what I'm doing. I'm going to believe in what I'm doing. It can be making a movie. It's like, you don't make a good movie if you don't believe in your movie. If you're the whole time being like, this is going to suck, isn't it, Toby? Well, it's going to fucking suck.
John, you just made me think of something that actually what she said is like totally online with this whole thing. There's this guy, Viktor Frankl. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with him. He's like one of like the lead like founding fathers of psychology and stuff like that. But he was in the Holocaust, and he would tell afterwards, he would tell stories about what it was like in the concentration camps. And he would say, like, you would assume that it would be like super depressing. Everybody's like just given up. Quite the opposite. He said you could always tell like the moods there were like people were laughing, joking around. You could always tell when someone wasn't going to survive, because those would be the people that didn't believe that they were going to, they kind of gave up on, thinking there was a future for themselves. The ones who kind of held on to the hope or the belief that they were going to get through this, those were the ones who ultimately were able to kind of make it through, himself included. So that's exactly like in line with that. I think that's such a powerful message to send people, is like belief can really, keep you strong.
Yeah, we believe that.
Yeah.
I just also like Solveig's story, I think, is interesting. And John, you said early in the film, when Mickey says to you something along the lines of like, "Oh, this was free" or whatever. You're like, how much is this going to cost? Is insurance going to cover this? And she's like, "No, it's free." And you said nothing is for free. And I mean, that's so true in so many ways, obviously. And even in this story, I mean, ultimately, was this supposed to be free? Yes, but it's actually like, it's not true altruism because it's supposed to be reciprocal, right? It's actually more of like a redemption story than a horror story. I guess it's a redemption story guys as a horror film, because like Solveig's story is just about kind of getting back what she lost, right? And finding someone who will reciprocate that for her if she will do something for them. And I just thought that was a really interesting thing that we don't always see in horror, where our so-called like villain is actually a really sympathetic, empathetic character who just is looking to get something back, but also give something as well. And I thought that was powerful. Like, when you guys were creating this, was that ultimately always your story, was to make Solveig kind of this like fallen hero kind of character? I don't know if that's the right way to put it.
Yes, it was always our goal. And it's like, for us, she's completely honest. And there's a lot of reasons. First, that one thing about is like, can insurance cover it? We wanted to show that actually the real horror of all this stuff is the
It's
American health.
insurance. Yeah.
But after that, we just
Agreed.
wanted to just quickly touch on that and then move on. And so then when we move on to Solvig, you know, what's great about her is what we love about the history of witches and people that are considered witches, especially the females, because mostly if you read the histories of witches, it's because they healed people and everyone was scared that they healed people, or they did things that were odd but worked. And a lot of those were probably based in science, and people thought, oh my God, she's magic because I don't understand. You know, let's burn her. Let's drown her. Let's do all these fucked up things. And so we always like to represent, especially like witch characters, as what they really were in history, which is real women that were probably incredibly smart and gifted. Yeah. And what's great about this witch is she never, ever lies. She only tells the exact truth. And for me, the best thing of all is that the daughter gets what she wanted, but loses her innocence. And that's kind of that to me is what's so important about any life and death struggle, is once you face death and once you have to have a relationship with death, you lose your innocence. It just happens. Yeah. Because you have to get a relationship with death. Now, the nice thing about death is that in a sense, it holds your innocence. It waits for you and holds and waits with your innocence, because life was so kind of beautiful. Yes, it can be brutal, but at least we're here, you know, yeah. And we're going to die. And it's going to be the same gift as life. It's going to come. It's going to be what's given is what's given. And I believe that since I love life, even though it's been painful, it's also been beautiful. Death is going to be the same. And it's holding, we wanted to talk about it holding our innocence again. Yeah. Because you're going to be innocent, because when you wake up in death, you're not going to know jack shit. You're going to have to deal with it. And it's going to be innocent in it, you know, because it's not your invention. It's just something you fall into.
I love that.
I'm getting carried away, but I mean,
no, I love that.
Things
I love that. Yeah.
They're just so important to us, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how do you guys develop an emotional connection with your characters as you write the script? You know, because it's different from, you know, anybody else coming in and being handed the script and saying, okay, like, I'm going to get into this mode. How was it for you guys, you know, at the drawing table, just creating it from the beginning?
Oh, that's so neat. You know, I guess, but by sheer nature of how we work, wearing all the hats that we wear, as we go along, it's like we pick up, it's like a snowball. We just can't help but pick up, you know, matter as we roll. And I feel like by the end of making our films, we really know our characters so well, because it's such an organic process and we've been growing with them. And each of us comes into them wanting to express something personal, because we work from a very kind of personal angle. I know for me with Solvig, I kind of knew I would fall in love with her pretty fast, because I loved the idea of necromancy and I loved her intimate relationship with things dark, but all the love that was in her. And for me, I grew to like feel like her necromancy was, her death work was really a kind of intimate work, like intimacy, sort of sex work with death, to be honest. Yeah. You know, like, because for her it is a transaction. She definitely wants something from death, but she's giving something to death as well. She's giving comfort, she's lulling it, she's giving it warmth. And so that's where we start out the movie, in that kind of, you know, very intimate scene, you know, naked, writhing around in like carnage, because she understands death is beautiful in its own way, and it craves the light, it craves warmth. She says, life is a drum, but death knows only silence. To woo death, one must love it, lie with it for 3 days, give your beating, bloody heart to it. So death grows ears, death grows warm, and the flood of light, the blood of light floods in. And she understands that death kind of is lonely and wants that. And I think that's kind of beautiful. So I sort of, in approaching Solvig, I knew that I would be thinking of many about dark things, but in a way that was very peaceful. And I really enjoyed it.
I just try to survive acting. I don't love it much. I love being with the girls. I try to listen to what they say about my character. And I know that Zelda started out the movie a little on the sad side, and Toby and I both were like, hey, this one, it's a brutal subject, so you need to be a powerhouse. You need to be like very positive. You need to be super strong, like melancholy. Like this is a story about cancer, so like there's a million melancholy stories about cancer. Let's do one that's like not. Let's do one that's this girl is a young girl with power and individualism. So I think we just listen to each other and guide each other what we want to see. That's the nice thing about 3 directors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's an early shot of Zelda when she's still at school and she's on the piano, and you can see you get the shot of her at the piano, but then like the way the piano's opened, you see a reflection of her as well in that same shot. And her friend comes over to her, asks her, is it back? Obviously knowing, and Zelda doesn't want to share it at that time. And I thought that the visual matched with that like interaction kind of just like really pointed out to me like what we show externally versus like what is actually inside, like the things we keep to ourselves versus so like persona and shadow, things like that. Like I just thought that was a really neat shot. Did I read too much into it, or was that like an intentional thing that you guys were doing there?
Well, it's absolutely intentional now that you've mentioned it. So could you edit out this part too so we can pretend it's our idea? Yeah, no, absolutely. That was more art than theory, because when Zelda sat down at the piano and I brought over the tripod and I set it up, I saw like just by out of luck, I saw the reflection in that glossy underbelly of the piano top. And I was like, oh my God, like, Jesus. And this was our first day of shooting too. So it was such a great omen, right? It was really nice. And, reflections, you're like, I could go, and I'm going to take your idea because it's really great. So the next time someone asks us about it, we're going to say that. But I want to thank you, first of all, for recognizing that image, because you're the first person who's brought that image up. And it was really fun. And I knew reflections always have a spiritual element. A reflection in a piano has a really spiritual element because there's music with it and joy, And you're right. It was fun to have her lie. That was just a neat start. It was an important start because it does show she's powerful enough. Like this isn't going to be a dramatic thing. She's powerful enough, going to stand on her own 2 feet.
And it also showed how it's like how Solvig says to her later, so old and yet so young in your bones.
Yeah.
For like a 20-year-old kid to have to like lie like that as a gift to her friend, so her friend doesn't worry, it says so much about her character, how like mature in a way. She just already knows, she's learned something so much that most kids will not have to think about. It was a powerful lie.
And she eats cheeseburgers with her dad, even though she knows it's going to be sick. It's like that happened to me with my dad. I did chemo, and he was like, we were in the city, and he was like, let me take you out to lunch. And so he took me out to this fucking, like Irish bar, and we had cheeseburgers, and I loved being with him. And I walked out and fucking puked all over the place. But the point was more, I wanted to hang out with my dad.
Yeah. Being there in that moment. And another thing with that, it's interesting because later in the movie she says something about, you say to her like, we're a team, and she goes, we're not a team. This is about so I mean, there is this weird dynamic where it's like it feels like, you know, you have a support system. Everybody is there to support you, her friends, her family, everyone wants to help her in any way, but ultimately there is like also this individual feeling that you also have, which then like causes you to feel like you even have to protect others, or you don't want to burden others too much, or you know, the things are impacting you. So it is like this experience that she has, which, yeah, she has to weigh her choices and her responses to people. It's a very, you know, unique dynamic in that way, where she's the one experiencing it, even though there's a whole team of people that care about her and are trying to be there for her.
That's right. It's one of the hardest truths of being alive, is that you are alone.
Yeah.
You can come up with as many myths as you want about not being alone, but you are.
Yep.
And then to like bring that all to full circle, it like getting the test results, you know what I mean? It you see like how John, your characters just grasped onto it when it was just like, no, we don't need to get retest. Like we believe,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it was
Yeah.
just like that was special to like break it all together. You know what I mean? For those scenes to come together for that, I think that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. I mean, you guys are nailing it. You're nailing all these little nuances that are quiet little things that we all know why we did these things, and nailing them. And so that means that's really wonderful of you guys.
Of course. John, we know we just talked to you about, you know, acting, and you were saying, oh, I just kind of go with it. But I have to just give you your props on, you know, your work on the film editing and the sound design has been really impressive. What techniques were incorporated into this project that you didn't try with your other films?
Wow. All right. You're just rocking. Okay. Oh, well, a couple things, because you mentioned sound and editing. Sound, we wrote 25 songs, about 25 songs. As soon as we knew what movie we were making, we wrote songs together, and we had about 25 songs. So I had those all lined up. We like to have those songs ready because we know the tone, and it's just nice to have a lot of music because it's much easier to edit to. But as I edited, the silence or nature's own soundtrack was so perfect that I actually laid off of this movie, sound design and music wise, more than any of our other movies, because the sound of the crickets, the sound of the birds, the sound of the wind, and the sound of the leaves, and the sound of people walking, and everything was so, to overlay anything on it would be to take away this magic gift that we were given. And so that was really fun to lay the hell off of this film. And like, even there's a scene where the witch is doing a spell in the night to get ready for the next day, and she is doing it over the skull of a fox, and she does her spell, and she takes the blood from the dead fox gore and steps back and swishes away. But you know, there's no swoosh, there's no sound at all. It just, and it's like, when Trey put that effect together for me, he composited that for me, there's no sound on any effects. And when he sent it to me, I looked at it and I was like, holy shit, that's so powerful without a sound. You know? And so we kept the sound off. So that was new, and I really liked that. Editing wise, one of the things that I did this time that I never done before is very fast clips, like the shot with the maggots in my mouth. There's a bunch of kind of quick little clips that I really enjoyed doing. They tell a lot. I think they're a little shocking, but they tell a lot in a tiny little moment. So I liked editing this thing. There's some definite long scenes, but I liked the quickness. Another neat thing that we did, you got me on it because I love this stuff, was interesting transitions. Like when they're sitting in the diner, and then you go to the outside of the diner and a car goes by, and suddenly they're sitting in a motel porch.
Okay. Yeah.
Like things like that were fun. And Trey helped me make those things happen. I love that stuff.
How about the transition when you see, after you have like you're tripping on mushrooms and you see Solveig's dead body, right? And then there's like this fade scene into nature.
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, but it's
Yeah.
almost like, and the way it, I mean, obviously I felt like that was intentional, the way it fades into nature, right?
Mm.
Well, oh yeah, like without a doubt. I didn't know when I filmed each scene how well they would fade. I don't generally use fades. I think fades are kind of like an old trick from older Hollywood stuff that I don't really love, but I tried to fade on that because a hard cut looked so weird. And what was amazing was that her face worked so well with those plants
Yeah.
that were in the foreground that it was like they sat on each other so well. That's just a lucky one. That was kind of me actually having trouble getting from one scene to the next in the right way and trying a million things. And when I got that fade, I was like, oh my God, that's so great. So it's like everything can work sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was great because it like definitely highlighted that her connection to nature again. And, just it felt very appropriate.
Yeah, really. When I saw it, I felt the same way. I was like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
again, let's pretend we like planned that.
Yeah, it was intentional. Yeah. And going back to the music, so you guys had your Hellbender soundtrack again. This one was also, amazing as usual. The song Murder. So the lyrics in that were interesting, and I don't know if I was reading too much into it, but I almost felt like it represented Solveig's story. So I didn't, Toby, I don't know if maybe you had some thoughts about that too. Just love is murder. I just kind of thinking about that whole, like, she falls in love with this baby that they kind of throw in the trash, and like her drive to, like, reunite with this connection of love that she has. And then the obvious lyrics, don't feed the baby, something along those lines they say over and over. So I was like, this has to represent Solveig's story in some capacity. Is that accurate? Is there any connection to it, or is this just like all by chance?
I love that. Don't feed the baby. That's so great. I think that's so great. I think it's fade baby, don't go. Isn't that
Well,
it?
I am also great at like not hearing lyrics correctly and making them my own. So it is
I
don't
love
feed
it.
the
That's what
baby.
Zelda does too. Yeah, I'm gonna now only say yours. I'm sure that's what Zelda thought it was too. If
I just
she
knew there was
hadn't been
baby
singing.
in there. That's all.
Um, uh, yeah, no, I think you're just spot on. Yeah, that song in particular, we knew really was perfect for the film. Was written for the film.
Okay.
Yeah, I love murder and yeah.
It means something. It means something else to each character. That's what's fun about that song. If you listen to it, if you listen to it from Solveig's point of view, it has a certain meaning. If you listen to it from my point of view, it has an entirely other meaning. And if you listen to it from Zelda's, again, it's like that's the beauty of the triangular love story here.
And
That
if you listen to it from
everybody,
my point of view, you get a totally different meaning apparently as well. So
yes, exactly, right.
I love it. And it goes back to, I really do feel like love is a kind of warfare, it's like for Jake, love is, he can't save his daughter like the doctors couldn't, he can't save her, but love is a kind of just invisible warfare to battle death, from his point of view. And Solveig obviously has a different point of view about death. And yeah, so that I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, you're the first person who's mentioned that song, which to me is the most important song in there.
I love it. I actually listened to it like 3 times this morning. I because I rewatched the film again last night, and the first time I watched it, that song stuck out to me. But then again, last night I was like, I forgot to look this. I was trying to find the lyrics because if I did find the lyrics, I would have known it was "Don't feed the baby." But
again, I think we're gonna go with "Don't feed the baby."
Okay.
Don't feed the baby.
I was also thinking like love is murder for John. For your character, love is kind of stop forcing to find them like the science answers, because like Mickey's asking you to stop, right? At one point she's like, we tried that, it didn't work. So love for your character was to like, we're not going to find these like typical actions. Love might just be allowing you to traverse the rest of your life how you want to, and making your own decisions, and me not like imposing my judgment on what you should do for treatment, right? So it's kind of letting go.
That's exactly right. And that's is so hard for parents.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, luckily we've never had to deal with the ultimate love is murder story. But we like, you deal with it with your kid going to college. You have to be like, all right, I love you.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Yeah.
So long.
Yeah. See, yeah. So yeah, that song, I'm really glad you pointed that out. Usually people talk about the song Baron.
Yes,
so this song to me
good.
is the most important song, just because it really is, again, the point of the story.
Are we going to get a whole album of Mother of Flies? I don't think there is one currently, is there?
No, there's not an album out. It's like, I want to put an album out. Now what we do is, when we write songs, we just put them right out even before the movie's out.
Yeah.
Just because we do have people that like our music. So we're not like, there's no business model here. It's more like, here's a song and we like it, and we know it's going to probably be in the movie, so we put them out. So all the songs are out there, but we haven't packaged them in that way. I would like to. I really love the songs. And there's, like I said, we wrote like 25 songs. So it's the same that happened with Hellbender. Hellbender, I think, had 12 songs in it, but we had also written 20 something songs. So when we put out the album, there was 20 something songs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I hope you do. I've personally have been trying to get back into like listening to full albums. I think it's a important experience to get back to, because over the years we've gotten away from the album experience, but that's how the artist intends you to listen to it. So I've been trying to get back into that, and I think there's value to that with soundtracks as well. Kind of re-listening and reliving the film experience you had through the music of it.
Well, I love that. That's empowering. Because I do want to do those things. I always do wonder, does anybody care? Do you know what I mean? Do they? Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. So you guys are working on your current film. Obviously, we'll have some time, to digest Mother of Flies even more before we see that. But what else do you guys want people to do to support the Addams Family, to support Mother of Flies and upcoming projects? How do people support?
Just the conversations we have when people reach out to us are really wonderful. They are super uplifting. They make it all worthwhile. I mean, I guess we've been making movies anyway because we love it, but it sure is fun and validating when people write and say, "Hey, I like what you're doing," and I'm gonna do. Someone wrote me and said, "Hey, I'm now gonna start making movies with my son. It's like a cool way for us to bond." I'm like, "Do it, please."
That's awesome.
And so I just think that I love it when people feel free to connect with us. And then we just building our family like we have with you and so many people who are also independent, creative, people getting inspired by what's around them. And I love that. And we really welcome it.
Yeah, I'm the same as with what Toby said, which is right now what we're doing. That's the support. It's like, it's not fans, it's friends. Tonight, there's about 5 different things that you taught us about our movie tonight. More about life. And like Toby said, I think when we started this whole conversation, right now in this day and age, it's really great to have human relationships that are like this, like us tonight. And that's it. That's all we want.
And honestly, that, just to kind of reflect that back to you guys, this is why we love having you guys on. It's why, when you guys have a new project coming on, I love to be able to allow this space here for us to chat with you, but also for people to hear you guys talk about your film. And because you guys do care about this, and you do care about connecting and all that stuff. So you're just super, I think I said this the last time we talked, and I'll say it again, you guys both just super like genuine and authentic people. And I think it comes across in the work that you do. And I don't know, where the horror community is so much better of a place for having you guys here. Because I think when we have people that come in here and they're just so into the craft and into the connections and get it. They get why we love horror so much and why we love this community so much. I think it just kind of like exemplifies like this big point that Brandon and I have always strived to show people is like the horror community is the best community in our opinion because it's like filled with so much life and caring, despite the fact that we love grisly murder. There's so much more to it. It really is like eye-opening.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Right, you guys watch a ton of horror. You're schooled in it. What do you think is the 2026 kind of zeitgeist? You know how like every year it's like, oh, there was so many movies that had this zeitgeist to it. What do you guys think the 2026 zeitgeist is?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Oh man,
Yeah.
I don't know if I know yet. So you mean like this overarching theme that just seems to be present in films? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah. Like for example, like I would say if you look at weapons, right, and you look at actually you could and you look at the one that we really love,
Bring Her Back.
And there's a whole bunch of movies that are very like I would call that the zeitgeist. You know, it's like kind of witchery. Super sad, like and against kids. It is that
Welcome to Derry.
Yeah, Welcome to Derry.
Welcome
The
to
TV
Derry.
show is like that. Like it's kids getting killed. It's like that to me is the zeitgeist of 2025. There was even another one that killed a shit ton of kids. But with magic.
So I think it's going to be about I think because of the divide that we have in our country, I think there's going to be a lot that's going to kind of showcase more divide and more anger, but also I think at some point we're going to get to a point where people are going to want to showcase kind of like overpowering and strengthening community. So like I'm trying to formulate my thoughts here. You know how like we have genres of films like, you know, black horror would kind of like represent like people under the stairs, kind of like community based things that attack communities, right? I think we'll see stuff like that, but I think we'll see a lot more at the end, like surprising endings where like, you know, you get like that twist in the ending where the community ends up taking over. I mean, at least that's what I would love to see. People coming together and kind of overpowering the evils that are kind of trying to corrupt the community. Whether we get that or not, I don't know. But like, I think that's what's needed in our community or the world right now is just seeing people coming together and overturning the evils that exist within or that are trying to corrupt.
100%. I think that's really smart.
Yeah. And like you said, John, definitely like the killing of the kids and stuff like that. Like Coffee Table was definitely one.
Yeah.
You know, we had Black Phone too. And so it's just you have a lot. And so that was always something
that
for me.
That was a great observation. I never thought of that.
Yeah. And that was always something for me.
Really interesting. What does that mean? Because I don't ultimately think that means, hey, we all love watching kids get killed. That's a metaphor for something. It's probably a metaphor. What our generation is handing our kids right now is like a shit show. You know what I mean?
You're exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This was like the ultimate taboo too. Like you never saw.
That's right.
Kids
That's right.
Getting murdered in horror films. They were always the protected ones, and nobody's protected these days, right? Nobody's innocent. No one's exempt, and you know, to the point where it's even impacting kids. And that's, I think what you just said was right. Like this is what we're feeding our kids. This is like the places we're putting our kids, and kids aren't even kids these days. They're exposed to everything, and they're treated like adults. It's insane.
That's the thing. I felt like I was guilty of that because we would always do reviews on films. Like sometimes like whenever like a kid was going to be killed, it would do the look away, and I'm like, but why didn't it show it? And then when I seen When Evil Lurks and with the dog, I was just like, oh wait a minute. Yeah. I'm like, I think I'm crossing the line. I don't want to see this anymore. You know. And so it's like it depends on the film. It depends on the film and how they do it. So I don't know.
Yeah, When Evil Lurks.
Terrified.
Wait, so
by
terrified.
By David Moon, Really?
That guy can really make you feel bad, but he does it so well. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God, it's great. Did you
Yeah.
not like When Evil Lurks?
Oh, I loved it.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
loved it. Yeah, I loved it.
Okay, me too. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, should I not like it? I loved it.
No, that was a
No,
really
Yeah.
good movie.
no. I mean, that, honestly, as much as we can point out like what the films are trying to say, like those. I mean, we love the stuff that also makes us feel absolutely terrible sometimes. So, like, I actually loved
Well,
Coffee Table because of how gross it made me
oh,
feel, and this it was just the most disgusting feeling watching that film. And at the very end, it's like I feel zero better. Actually, even with the end of this,
Zero
I feel
better.
worse.
Yeah.
But I was
love
like, that's powerful.
I loved Coffee Table because of their excellent acting. I loved
Oh my
their
God.
like they just really looked like real people that I've seen in places where I'm like, oh my God, I know these people. Like I've seen them in shopping centers and stuff like that. It
Yeah.
was really great.
It really
Loved
was
that one.
from this and the skeevy the coffee table salesman to the brother
Oh
who's like
yeah,
this, like
yeah,
everybody. Yeah, super effective.
everybody. If you want to feel really shitty, and have what did you say, zero better? If you want to feel zero better, watch The Golden Glove.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
No, it's on my
What is it? The
list.
Golden Glove?
Yeah,
Okay,
on the
I'm
list.
not even aware.
that'll make you feel zero better.
Zero better.
It's great.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah,
good.
I mean it's awful. It's awful.
There was another film that came out last year. I think it's Mads or is it Mods?
Oh,
Mads or
Mads
Mods?
is great.
Mads,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was so good.
Like the one shot, it was a continuing shot film. So I would like to see more of that. I mean, something that just continues and keeps going, keeps rolling. Now, was that legit one take the whole film? Because that's what they were saying. What it was just nonstop, keep going.
I thought it was. So actually the one take is also another one that was the zeitgeist in a sense, because there was the TV show about the adolescence that was the one shot TV series, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
There was this one, and there was one other one shotter. Oh, and then even the TV show with the comedian does a one shotter. The one about the Hollywood producer.
Oh,
Is the studio?
No. The guy who used to, the studio. He used to be friends with the
Oh.
guy who got canceled. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names of Hollywood people, but you liked it. I was kind of like, I don't know about this one. Maybe it's called The Studio. Is it about a producer?
Yeah, I think it was Seth Rogen, right?
Thank you.
Or was
Yes, that's
okay.
And the very first one, I think, is a one-shotter.
The best
Okay.
episode, Menendez Brothers, Monster, on Netflix, the Menendez Brothers. Did you guys watch that one?
Most of it. I watched like
I
the
watched-
first half.
Watched 2 episodes.
There was that wonderful episode that's just one take that was really powerful, with one of the brothers. So good. Yeah, so I'd like to do that one sometime.
Oh,
I know whenever I say that, John, that's what he says. He goes, oh my God. I'd really like to do it.
See, and I thought the movie Presence was supposed to be all one shot too, but there are some obvious like cut scenes in there, but there are very long extended shots in it. And that almost looks like I was telling Brandon, it almost feels like you're watching a play or something like that, the way that it plays out. But a lot of extended shots in there. I mean, I can only imagine how challenging that must be to do the one shotter.
Oh, I can't imagine it. I mean,
I think you guys can do it.
Oh my God. I can't imagine how you get your brain around sound. It'd be just an insane nightmare.
Well, we wouldn't be able to do it the way we do sound.
Right.
Because, yeah.
Because we carry around a rock and roll stand, like literally like, a straight up rock and roll stand with a heavy lead bottom. So if it's a oneer, it's going to be about a murderous rock star that kills everything with his mic stand.
Yeah. I was going to say, me and Brandon can just follow around holding it. So put us to use. We'll just hold it behind you guys. All right. So, I mean, everyone already knows at this point, but just share with everyone where to find you on social media. Individually, I guess, and Zelda too, in case people want to find her social medias if she's willing to share.
Great.
Yeah, on Instagram, adams.family.films is the main one. I've got one at Toby Poser. Zelda is Zeldadams, so only one A in between Zelda and Adams. And then Lulu is the real Lulu Adams.
Yeah.
And I'm just on Facebook.
You're on Facebook.
The old, believe it or not, I'm still on the old.
I love it.
I'm lame. I'm not going to pretend I'm not.
No, it's not even that. It's just Facebook just feels so hard to keep up with. It's like our least favorite of all the socials, but it's like a necessary evil. Got to do them all.
I don't think it is a necessary evil anymore. I think it really died a couple of years ago when it got overrun with politics. That's why we jumped to Addams Family Films on Instagram, because it was pretty unpolitical. Now that can be political again too. There's nowhere to hide.
Exactly. It's all kind of unavoidable. Yeah, guys, thank you again for spending the evening with us and having this conversation. Thank you.
David, Brandon, thank you. We just love talking to you. And you teach us so much about, like John said, our own films. And you guys have something good in the water at PVD, because you guys have some good people there.
Thank you. Great community out here for anyone watching or listening that hasn't been out to Rhode Island. It's a good community out here. So check it out.
Drogo community, and
yeah.
Well, peace, you guys. Thanks a lot.
You soon.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Everybody, watch Mother of Flies on Shudder today or tomorrow, one of those days, but very soon. And yeah, you'll enjoy it. All right, everybody, have a great night. We'll see you next week with a new episode.
Takes a lot of love for a person to do this.